Okay, good afternoon, grade 11 students. It is 4 o'clock and we are getting started with our lesson today. Just a reminder that my name is Alan Flint and I will be conducting the lesson today. If you guys have any questions or anything that you want to discuss, please raise your hand and we can then discuss it from there. What we have been doing over the last few days is we've been focusing on a section of work called Access. Like I mentioned in the previous lessons, Access forms part of the Microsoft suite. So you've got Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, and then the last one, which a lot of students are not familiar with, which is Microsoft Access. Okay, so we are going to be taking it really slowly with this section of work because it is important for matric. I was looking at the past paper from last year, and Access counted 40 marks out of the final paper, which is about 20% of the paper. So extremely important section of work that you guys need to grasp. And the more time you spend doing it, the easier it's going to get. So let's get going with Access. I'm just going to give you a slight or a bit of a revision, a bit of a catch-up session on what we did yesterday, and also just give you the learning outcomes of what this lesson is going to be about. So what we are going to focus on today is two main sections of work. We are going to look at the different types of data that we use in Access. So there are about 8 or 9 different types of data that we use, and we're going to explain each type of data as well as where it can be used. I will explain it to you guys in the PowerPoint, and then once I open up the PowerPoint, the Access database, I will then go and show you where you can find these types of data and where to insert them and where to change them. The second thing we are going to look at is how to change your field's data type, and that's basically just what I mentioned right now. So there's 2 things that I'd like you guys to understand by the end of this lesson. Again, stop me and ask questions and we can interact and we can discuss any questions that you may have. So the 4 documents or the 4 programs that you guys need to know is Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and then the last one, what we are focusing on today, Access. So what we've covered so far, in case you missed any of the lessons previously, we looked at the purpose of a database. And we said that a database is basically there to capture data and store it electronically. Individuals like you and me, we are able to create our own databases on information that we may want to store, or businesses and companies are able to store information on their products or on their customers or on their employees. We then had a look at table properties, and we had a look at how to edit our table. We had a look at the fields, we had a look at the records, and basically how to insert new data and how to change new data and format a table. And the formatting, if you remember, was very similar to that of Microsoft Word and Excel, where we were able to change the font to bold. We were able to change the font size as well. We were able to make rows in a table bigger. We were able to change the field width. And I will go over that again. And if any of you want me to go over that again, I'm more than happy to do it. So just pop your message or put up your hand and we can discuss it. Yesterday, we had a look at the main features of Access. We had a look at tables, queries, forms, and we were not able to get to reports. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time trying to cover some of those again and just kind of reiterate those points that we went through. Okay, so let's get into what we want to focus on today. We are going to look at the types of data that can be used in Access. And as you can see on the screen, the types of data that we get is a short text and a long text. We get a number, we get date or time, we get currency, we get an auto number, we get yes or no, and we get an OLE object. Okay. So first of all, the first type of data that we are going to look at in Access is short text. Now, short text is used for names, surnames, or company names. Any one of those can be stored in a short text, or any kind of character that is less than 255 characters. So in a database, what you'll typically get is you'll get a table, and then you'll get a field, and what you will store in that field would either be names, surnames, age, or company names, or email addresses. And in that field, you need to tell the database or change the database so that the field will represent a short text, or the data will be in the form of a short text. It's extremely important over here. If you choose the incorrect data type for your field, the data will not be displayed. Okay. So the first one we had a look at is short text. Just a reminder that I am going to go through this in the PowerPoint, and then I will look at a database as well. And what you guys can do is you can see practically how we can change the data type. The second one that we get is a long text. This is used for comments and descriptions, and the text entries longer than 255 characters. So any word or any sentence or paragraph that you type into a database, if it is longer than 255 characters, you will have to set the data type to a long text. And this is generally for comments or descriptions or longer sentences that you may want to use in your database. Okay, the third one that we are looking at is a number. This is the type of data that we're going to use for cell phone numbers, the age of people's, any sort of number value that you want to put into a database. You will set the data to a number. So like the description says over here, the type of data that is a number will consist of numbers, and the examples include age, amounts, or distances. Any one of those can be put into your database. Okay, the next type of data that we get is date and time. This data contains future, present, or past dates and times. An example of this would be if you have a database of all the employees that work for your company, you might set a field to say that you want to store data based on when your employees started working at your company. If you want to store that type of data, you will set your field to a date, and then you will put in the date format or the date when that particular employee started working at your company. Some examples include birthdays, dates, possibly the date that a company purchased a product, the date that the product was sold. Any sort of dates or times that you want to put into a database would be stored as a date time type of data. The next one is currency. Currency includes data that is in the form of prices. This could be rands, dollars, euros, any type of currency that you want to store in a database would be stored under the data type currency. So this data includes prices, the price of a product that you may be selling, the price of a product that was sold, any type of currency, the amount that an employee earns, the amount that needs to be paid. Any one of these can be seen as a currency type of data. If this does seem like quite a lot to take in right now, I do understand it. There are a lot of different data types, and maybe just kind of looking at these words doesn't really make sense. But when we go through the database and we look at the different types of fields, I will show you practically how this all comes into play, and hopefully then it makes a little bit more sense. Okay, the next one over here is an auto number. The data here is sequential, so basically it moves in order. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to however many rows or records you have in a database. So the first record that you put into your database will automatically be set as an auto number, and it will be given the number 1. The second record that you put in will be given the number 2. The third record that you put in will be given the number 3, and so on and so forth. And as you can see, each number in the database will be unique. So you can't have an auto number where there's a 1 and a 1, and you can't have an auto number where there's a 2 and a 2. Auto number will automatically give the record a specific number. Okay. The next type of data that we have is a yes or no type of data. And like it says over here, the data type will either be yes or no. What we can also do is we can change these to check boxes, so that if the box is checked, it means that it is a yes. If the box is unchecked, it means that it is a no. This type of data answers a question that is stated in the field. So for example, when we look at the database over here, you will see that one of the databases is, one of the fields states, is a team in the relegation zone? And then you can tick off, yes, this team is in the relegation zone. Or has this person paid for their product? And you can click on that box, yes, or you don't have to check on it to know, and then we automatically know that that person or that company has not paid for a specific product. And then the last one that we are looking at is an OLE object, where graphics, photos, videos, or music can be stored in this type of data. Cool. So I'm just going to run through those quickly again, just so that you guys are familiar with them. I'm just going to go back a couple of slides and then look at them, and then we'll do practically how you actually insert these types of data into a database. So number 1, short text. Number 2 is your long text. Number 3 is your number. Number 4 is your date and time. Number 5, currency. Number 6, auto number. Number 7, yes or no. And then the last one, OLE objects, which is graphics, music or videos that can be stored as a type of data. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into an actual database. And for those of you that have been in the previous lessons, you would be familiar with this database because I've been using the same one. If you would like to download this database, you're more than welcome to. Reminder that if you open up this database, it should open up the program called Access. So here we go. Okay, a reminder that this is the opening screen that you will see in Access. Generally, when you look at the screen, it just looks blank. There's nothing out there in front of you, and a lot of students get confused about this. I've mentioned it a couple of times. Please do not panic when you see nothing in front of you over there. What you need to do is you need to first look into this navigation pane, especially when your questions are stating a specific thing. That say, open up the table Premier League information, and immediately you need to know where to find that and how to open it up. So the question states in your exam, you guys are writing your exam now, it says, open up the Premier League info table. So I see there's a chat over here. And the Premier League table will open up. Sorry, I see that there's a chat over here that says can't see anything. Can you see something now?
I know it's just the different type of data used, the hyperlink with your little wheel turning to show it's loading, but there's nothing popping up.
Yeah. Still nothing, eh?
There's still nothing.
Okay, let me just see over here if I go back. I'm just going to close it and then open it up again. Still nothing here.
Yeah, still not seeing anything.
Okay, so you guys seeing the different types of data in Access, or you just seeing the PowerPoint?
I'm seeing the PowerPoint with that text with the hyperlink that you can click on to open.
Okay.
But when you click on it, then nothing happens.
Okay. Let me go out of this. Can you guys see my desktop now?
Oh no.
Okay. Is it open now?
No, it's still just the PowerPoint with the different data types and the hyperlink. Maybe if you go there at the bottom by share screen, if you open the PowerPoint on a different share screen option, maybe it will show then.
Keeps on saying that my share screen is paused. On?
Yeah, now I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know. It's a technical issue there. Okay, sorry about that. What we were looking at is we were looking at the database. And so now we're looking at different types of data that we are that we could use in a database. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at is just a reminder about what each one of these is